Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Uh, okay, very good morning, guys. So, today in this session, we'll be discussing two concepts and also the problems associated with two concepts. So, this is regarding your examination questions and the problems which can be appeared with respect to your module 1. So in module 1 we have two types of problems and algorithms. One is your finders algorithm, second is your candidates elimination algorithm. So in the previous session we had already discussed what is finders algorithm, how it works, what is a positive example, what is negative example. Considering all these things, we shall try to solve these two problems here. So here in this today's discussion, we'll be solving two problems. One is your finders algorithm problem. Second is your candidates elimination algorithm problem. So first is basically you must remember that a difference between your finders algorithm and candidates algorithm. Of course, we'll be going through each and every steps in the algorithm in the previous video also. Final difference between finders and candidates elimination algorithm is finders algorithm accepts only the positive examples. It rejects the negative examples. Your candidates elimination algorithm considers both positive as well as negative example and reflects on the hypothesis H. This is very first thing. Let's see how the problem goes. Okay, how the examination question which you can expect in your examination. So it's the first question. Please observe the question. Consider the enjoy sport concept. So the concept here is enjoy sport. An instance given below. Identify the specific hypothesis using finders algorithm. So clearly in the question itself he has been stated you must find the specific hypothesis only. He might usually specify what type of algorithm that has to be used. So here he has specified using finders algorithm you have to identify the specific hypothesis. Okay, so first he has given a data set or there instances. So I have 4 instances there starting from example 1 to 4. I have about 6 attributes: sky, air temperature, humidity, wind, water, and forecast. And the positive, whether I'll decide it as a positive example or negative example, that is enjoy sport, is represented by yes or no. In the first example, if all these conditions satisfies, your enjoy sport is yes, that is it will be considered as positive example. So in the third case, if this is what the condition, it is the your enjoy sport example is no, that it means that it is a negative example. First we shall try to, what is my main ultimate goal? Identify my specific hypothesis. So let's start solving the problem here. The very first step you will start is, we will initialize my hypothesis H with most specific hypothesis. In the previous session, we have discussed two notations. One is your null notation and one is your question mark notation. What does your null notation represent? It represents the most specific thing. Okay. So I'll first do as, I'll put all the instances within my hypothesis by null. All the 6 attributes will be my specific hypothesis. Let's consider the first training example which we have here. So in first training example, that is x1. Here I'm having x1 as, let's consider this example. My first training example is sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, and same. First identify, the very first thing you must do is identify what type of example it is. Is it a positive example or is it a negative example? So it's a positive example, right? So this is positive example. So first I'll be writing the values of x1. With that, I'll replace it by x1. What is my instant one? It is a positive example. Next, I will be updating my hypothesis. H1, what is my hypothesis? If this is observing my instance H1, it is too specific. So I think it can fit the possible example. So I'll replace x1 same as your h1. Hypothesis 1 will be the same as x1, that is sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, and same, considering it as a positive example. Okay, next. You consider the training instance, second training instance now. What is my second training instance? My second training instance, here I have x2, sunny, warm, high, strong, warm, and same. What type of example it is? Again, it's a positive example. You start comparing h1 with x2 here. My first attribute, both are sunny. So my hypothesis 2, considering x2 with h1, I will be determining my hypothesis 2. So in my hypothesis 2, if you can observe there, please start considering your examples there, instances. My first attribute is sunny. Sunny, here I am having sunny. So it will be same. Next I am having warm. So it will be same. The third attribute for hypothesis 1, I am having normal. Here I am having high. I will replace it by question mark. It means that I am making it as general. Okay. So I'm converting, what is my main goal? I'm converting it to most specific hypothesis. I'm making it as general thing. Next I have strong, these both are same. Warm, I have same I have. So I'll replace this as it is. So is there any doubts? Can we move further?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, I'll consider my example 3, that is my x3. If you consider x3 here, considering x3, I'll be comparing x3. What is my h2 here? Hypothesis 2. Before you start comparing, you must check whether it is a positive example or negative example. Here it is a negative example. I don't compare. So in this case, if it is a negative example, I'll remain my h2. I'll update my h3, that is the new hypothesis, same as my previous hypothesis h2. Okay. So here in this case, I'll retain my h2 same as h3. Okay. So h2 and h3 value remains same. Next, considering, let's go for the next example, the last example, x4. You start comparing x4 with my hypothesis 3. So I'll start comparing my hypothesis 3, h3 with x4. So my first attribute is sunny, it is same. Next, warm, here I have warm. It is high and general, so I'll make it as general. Strong, I'll remain. Warm and warm. Okay, it is a positive example. Okay, I think warm, it's not warm here. It is different. Let's go back to the question and see what is there. See my 4, it is the water, attribute water is having cool. Here in this example, he has written a little bit wrong, which you can consider here. So it is, so this must be, it is cool here. It is not warm, it is cool. Okay. So if you consider warm and cool, again it will be generalized with question mark. Here I have same and change, it will be replaced by question mark. That is my general hypothesis. So if you could observe over here, okay, if you could observe over here, your updated value or the final hypothesis is sunny, warm, question mark, strong, and 2 question mark. That is my general hypothesis. So this is what a simple example for finders algorithm. You'll be start comparing with your x1 and your hypothesis. If it is a positive example, you will update the value of hypothesis. If it is a negative example, you will be retaining the same value of the instance of previous example. Is there any doubts and should I repeat it again?
No, sir.
Can we go further?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. So we'll consider my second example here. It's most important example. Okay, it's very important. Here, consider the enjoy sport concept and instances given below. So he has given an instances here. Identify the general and specific hypothesis using candidates elimination learning algorithm. So you have to apply your candidates elimination algorithm, and then you have to identify what is the most general hypothesis and also the most specific hypothesis. Okay, so you have to identify both the things here. What is the most general thing and what is the most specific things here? So let's assume that we know the difference, right? See, first is in your find us algorithm will be considering your positive examples only, whereas in your candidates elimination algorithm will be considering your positive example as well as your negative example also. We'll see how to interpret this particular problem. Okay. First, let's consider your data set, whatever he has given here. The same data set he has taken over here, the enjoy sport example. So first, I'll be considering two things here. One is your general hypothesis and specific hypothesis. What is my general hypothesis? G naught. It is denoted by, all attributes are denoted by question mark. And your specific hypothesis, it is denoted by null symbol. Okay. Let's consider, let's go ahead with the example. I have my first instance here, my example 1. Is it a positive example or negative example?
Positive example.
It's a
Positive
positive
one.
example. So it's a positive. I'll consider x1 here. I need to update my specific hypothesis as well as general hypothesis. So now here my specific hypothesis, if you consider, this is my specific hypothesis. So my specific hypothesis initially it was null. So I'll replace it by null. What is my new specific hypothesis? So I'll specifically assign all the first case condition. So these are all the first case conditions, assuming that it is a positive example only. If it is a positive example, then I can update my specific hypothesis. My general hypothesis, that is G naught, here I was having general hypothesis. So my G1 will remain same. I'm not updating any general hypothesis. As of now, I'm not updating anything. Only my specific hypothesis will be updated. Now, let's go ahead. We'll go with second instance now. So second instance, I have x2. Please remember, I am considering my second instance here, x2. x2 is having 6 attributes. It is a positive example. So consider your, please compare your x2 with your previous s1, that is most specific hypothesis. If you and update, I'll start updating my s2, that is I'll be writing my second new specific hypothesis. If you start comparing here, since it is a positive example, so first is sunny, it remains same. Warm, it remains same. Here I have high and normal, so I'll be replacing it by, I'll making it as general. Strong, it remains same. Warm, it remains same. And here I have same, so that it remains same. So there is one attribute which is being changed, that is high and normal, which I replace it by question mark here. Okay. So what is the value of G2 here? From general hypothesis, G1 and G2. So G2 will be again equal to your G1. So there is no negative example. There is nothing to update. All the attributes are generalized over there. Okay. Let's go next step. Can we move further? Is there any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay, let's consider your x3 here now. So my x3 is given. So consider the third instance. So your third instance is this. What type of example it is? It is a negative example. If it is a negative example, what is my first thing that I must do? Your specific hypothesis will be equal. Your S2 will be equal to S3. What was the previous S2 which I had? I'll remain same for the S3. Now I'll start updating for general hypothesis. See, observe carefully here. Your general hypothesis, what I'm changing here, your x3 is this, and you have to update your g3 here. What was my g2 here? All the hypothesis was general. So I'll start updating here. Considering your s3 here, considering your specific hypothesis, please observe your s3 and you start updating your g3 here. So s3 I have first is sunny. For here x3 I'm having different, that is rainy. So that for first I'll be writing sunny here. If there is sunny, irrespective of whatever attributes, I'll replace it by general hypothesis. If it is same, suppose if let's consider, let's encounter with next attribute. Now we'll go for next attribute. You will be more clear when I go to next attribute. What is my second attribute here? I'm having warm. So I'll consider warm and cold. They're not the same. So now my first attribute was sunny. I'll put question mark here. My second attribute is warm. I'll specify warm here. Every attribute I'll replace it by question mark here. Now, please, there is an interesting thing here. Now, let's assume the third attribute, x3 I'm having high, s3 I'm having question mark here. What is in this case? So already there is general hypothesis. I'll just neglect this particular attribute. I'll not consider this in my general hypothesis. So I'll just neglect it and go further. What is my next case here? I'm having strong. Here I'm having strong. Both of my attributes are same. In this case, again, I'll be neglecting this particular attribute. Are you people understanding? Can I go further?
Yes, sir.
Next attribute, I'm having warm. Here I'm having warm. So I'll be again neglecting this. Next attribute. Here I'm having change. But in S3 I'm having same. So what I'll be doing? Irrespective of whatever attributes which I'm having here, same will be here. Rest all other attributes will be replaced by question mark here. That is your generalized method. I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it again. You can just go through it once again. We'll have a quick recap of this particular instance here. What is my instance here? My instance is x3. That is my new instance. Is it a positive instance or a negative instance? It is a negative instance. If it is a negative instance, what will you be doing? My specific hypothesis remains same as the previous hypothesis, so that my S3 will be same as S2. Previous hypothesis is written the same. You will be start updating your G3 here. So G3 will be updated here. Let's see how we update this value. We'll start comparing your X3 with S3. Okay, and I will be updating your G3. First, I'm having rainy and sunny. For the value attribute sunny, if there is attribute sunny, and rest all other thing, it can be generalized. This is my first. Second, let's go for second attribute. Here I'm having cold and warm. It is not the same. So my first attribute, except warm, all the attributes can be generalized. This is the meaning. Let's go with the third example, third attribute. It is the third attribute. Here I'm having high and general. In this case, I'll be neglecting this. Next, I'm having fourth attribute, strong and strong. It remains same. So if it is general or if it is same, I'll be neglecting that particular attribute. Next, go with the next attribute. Here I'm having warm and warm. Again, it is same. I'll be neglecting this. Next, I'm having change and same. There is a change here. Okay, so both the attributes are different. So in this case, I'll remain same here and replace all other attributes by your question mark. So this is your updated value of G3. Okay, so what was my G2 here? The conclusion which you are writing, G2 I was having all the attributes were generalized. From the generalized, I am updating my value to G3 as this. Is the concept clear? Can I go further? Can somebody confirm me? Is there any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. Let's consider X4, that is my fourth instance. So X4 here, okay, X4, I'm having this instance. Is it a positive or negative instance? Can we just go back to the question and check whether my X4 is a positive or negative instance? Here my X4 is, it's a positive instance. Okay, so it's a positive instance. Okay, let's consider here. Now, what was my, if it is a positive instance, can somebody confirm me what value should I update? I should update my specific hypothesis or the general hypothesis?
Specific hypothesis.
Yes, the very first thing I must update is the specific hypothesis. My S3, my previous value of S3 was this. I'll compare it with my new instance X4 and I will be updating my S3 to S4 here. So our X4, I'll be start comparing now. So my first attribute, it is sunny. I'll remain sunny as it is. My second attribute, it is warm and warm. I'll remain it as it is. My third instance, I have high and general hypothesis. So here I'll make it as general. Okay. Next, I have strong and strong. So I'll keep same as it is. Next, I have cool and warm. So there is a change. I'll make it as a general instance. Next, I have change and same. I'll make it as general here. So your specific hypothesis S4 is defined. Okay. S4 is defined. Please observe here. This step is very much important. Now, I need to update my G4. Coming back to G4, what is my G4 value? Go back to your G3 value. See, G3, I had this value. This is my G3 value. So this was my G3 value, previous value. I need to update my G3 value to G4 value. You consider your S4 now. S4, I have sunny, warm, general, and strong. I have about three things. If you want to derive G3, see, observe, first I had sunny here. S4 here I am having sunny. G3 I had sunny. So I'll replace it by sunny, and again the same whole thing will be same. This term will be same. Next I have warm, second attribute as warm. So in the previous example I had warm. So this whole attribute I'll remain it as same. That is my G4. My last attribute, the third G3, here in the G3, the third term, last attribute, it was warm. Compare it with my S4 here. What is my last attribute? Here, if it was warm, I would have retained the same thing. But here, it has been generalized. So this value has been updated here. Okay. In this case, I will be neglecting this particular term. So your final answer of G4 will be updated with only these two values. Okay, so to be very straightforward, you'll be start comparing with your, after determining your specific hypothesis, you'll be comparing your specific hypothesis with your previous general hypothesis and update your next general hypothesis. Okay. So, is there any doubt? Should I repeat it again? The particular X4 instance, the fourth instance, should I repeat it again? Can somebody confirm me whether you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, considering this, we'll be finalizing this. My S4, that is, we had only 4 instances. So here, in this case, your S4 and G4, I'll be concluding that S4 and G4 are the final set of hypotheses which are consistent to our training example. This is my final hypothesis which I can expect here. See, this is your most general and most specific hypothesis which you can expect here. Okay, so this is what the concept just I had thought of explaining with respect to your candidates elimination algorithm and also your find us algorithm.